Okay, so what we have here is called the sarcophagus with Dionysus and Ariadne, and it's displayed in the Walters Art Museum in Baltimore.
As many of you I'm sure know, a sarcophagus is a box of sorts to house the body of a deceased person. This one in particular is made of marble, carved by the Romans between the years 190 and 200 CE during the imperial period.
Yeah, and the story here is that Ariadne is sleeping in Dionysus' lap.
Thanatos is a Roman god representing death, implying that Ariadne is close to death.
And Dionysus, he's standing near the middle of the work, and he's offset slightly to the right, closer to Ariadne. And his head is damaged, but it appears to be tipped back with his arm raised over his head, appearing as if he was taking a drink. Being as he is the god of wine, this is perhaps something that they would do to identify him and make him recognizable.
Dionysus is being led to the sleeping Ariadne by an Eros figure at his feet. The story says that he saves Ariadne from death by marrying her. The Eros figure is carrying a torch, which he's gesturing to Ariadne, and has a drapes drawn over her, as Nick's did in several other manuscript pages that we talked about. Perhaps alluding to the story of Dionysus drawing her from death.
Yeah, and this is appropriate for the sarcophagus, considering the scene is depicting Dionysus defying death. So perhaps the person buried here intended to imply that his spirit or memory would defy death as well.
Clearly, he would be afraid of something more tangible, considering his body didn't defy it.
This would relate most likely to other aspects of Roman art, in that it is a form of propaganda, so relaying to anyone exposed to the sarcophagus that this person's power or memory is resilient and everlasting.
It would have to be someone of some sort of wealth, considering the material is marble, making the sarcophagus most likely belonging to a patrician or a wealthy plebeian or freedman.
Well, we can actually see the person buried here. The figure on the upper rim of the sarcophagus is carved with a rhosis and other animals seemingly most likely making in the middle of that scene, there's a head of a figure that's probably this sarcophagus belongs to. So she or he is positioned as the center figure, which is the centers to the left of the damaged.
Because this top scene seems to be one-way, it's showing something the person buried here took pride in, or a job which they were overseeing.
And we've seen this in a few other works, such as the Mausoleum of Costanza, which is the location of Constantine's eldest daughter was buried when she died.
You mentioned satyrs earlier. That's something else that would identify him as Dionysus. The other figures present in the work are satyrs, which I already mentioned, and maenads. They make up the majority of the figures in this particular piece, as well as the half-man, half-goat figures that are related to the god Pan. They are often accompanying Dionysus in works he was represented in.
And maenads, they were female followers of Dionysus that were driven mad by his spirit, and according to myth would lose control, hunt down animals, other men and children, and devouring them, killing them. And with them they would carry a thyrsus, which is depicted here.
A thyrsus is a long staff-like stick wrapped in ivy leaves and tipped with a cluster of more leaves. Maenads would also wrap vine leaves around them, and they would handle snakes as well, which we can see here in this piece. It's below one of the feet of the Maenad figures.
And this also helps us recognize Dionysus because he's often depicted with a wild nature about him.
This is due to the story of his origin, which traces back to Greek mythology. He's sort of an imported god there. He depicted the wild culture of further to the east of Greece. Therefore, he did not have the rational mind that the Greeks prided themselves in, and that the Romans admired them for, in addition to their art.
Yeah, and that's why his followers are shown to be mad, and they're fueled by ecstasy and emotion. So the carving of this piece, it's very deep, and at this point, Romans had already developed a drill to make carving deeper, and therefore they could make the hair and other body parts on these figures more naturalistic and dramatic. Two things that are very prominent in ancient Roman architecture and art.
This deep carving is seen in many works of art around this time period again, about 190 to 200 CE, a few of which are also displayed in the Walters, like the bust of Marcus Aurelius.